There are lots of things I can't do, but maybe it's easier because I was diagnosed younger. That meant that I don't tend to focus too much on them. So I was 5 and I had whooping cough. When I first was diagnosed when I was 5, they said, juvenile arthritis, Still's disease, and that's when I heard it. And once I was teenager onwards, I've never heard it being referred to as Still's again. And the more modern term was, systemic juvenile idiopathic arthritis. And I think I was just treated as though I had rheumatoid arthritis by the doctors, the medication, and no one ever used the term Still's disease till this flare again in 2018. It got muddled, and I was just then treated as RA, and so that meant that I had to kind of be re-diagnosed with this flare. I do remember joints being red. I ended up missing something like 14 weeks of school when I was 5, being in hospital, and at 18 I had my first hip replacement. With regards to the fever, I very rarely get fevers, even when I was getting increasingly unwell in 2018, but I felt really hot. I was sweaty all the time and really, really hot. My throat was closing up. It was sore, it was really sore, but I was having trouble, I couldn't swallow. Unfortunately there wasn't any room in ITU, in intensive care at that stage, so they put me in the acute respiratory care unit, and when it was affecting my lungs and heart and swallowing and things, I struggled a bit with that and sort of facing my own mortality. But maybe it's almost an advantage, the fact that I've been ill since I was young, because it sort of forced me to be resilient and to see ways around things. I've looked at it as a positive thing. I always thought it meant that when I was a child, because I couldn't go out running around the playground, it meant that I became more academic and led to me going to get a degree and the job that I do. And I have lots of interests in things. Lots of my interests involve using my brain, rather than doing physical things. So I think that's kind of from my resilience. I've always just thought, well, let's just get around it. If you can educate yourself, I think that's the main thing. I think educating yourself about it can also help you to not see it as this insurmountable thing, and look at the medications and the treatments that are available now. You can have a devastating impact on your life, and when you feel unwell, it's difficult to kind of see beyond that and see the wood for the trees. And I will try and look at what hobbies you can do that are perhaps a little bit less physical, or if you enjoy swimming or something, then to do it at a time when you're not going to be so fatigued. And I think it's important that people can stay positive, because it can affect you. If you're feeling down, if you're stressed, it can increase your chances of flares as well. I think it's important to try and have as much of a positive mindset as possible.